You leave a meeting, a date, or just a quick hallway chat. But the conversation doesn't leave you. Hours later, you're brushing your teeth, and that one sentence you said is still echoing in your head. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the way they looked away, the tiny pause after your joke, the tone you used when you answered. The movie keeps running. Did I sound stupid? Did they think I was rude? Why can't I just move on? That feels uncomfortably familiar. You're not just being dramatic. What I'm about to tell you about your brain is something most people like you never get to hear, because almost everyone writes this off as overthinking or being too sensitive and stops there. But that's only half the story of what's actually happening inside your mind. Pretty quickly, people around you start giving it a name. You're overthinking it. No one else is still thinking about that. You're too sensitive. They can move on in 5 seconds. You're still replaying the same 3 lines 5 hours later, wondering why your brain won't drop it. So you start to turn on yourself. Normal people don't do this. Why am I like this? Why can't I just let it go? You even joke about it. There I go again, obsessing. But it doesn't feel funny when you're alone with your thoughts. Most people stop there and decide they're just broken, dramatic, or socially weird. But what if that explanation has been incomplete this whole time? What if the very thing you call overthinking is actually pointing to a hidden trait in how your mind works, one that almost no one ever explained to you? What most people don't realize is that replaying conversations isn't just some random mental glitch. Psychology suggests it's often a sign of high social awareness and deep processing. Your brain doesn't treat interactions as throwaway moments. It treats them like data. It's checking. How did I come across? What did they feel? What really happened underneath the words? That's not stupidity. That's sensitivity. You're what psychologists might call a deep social processor. Your mind automatically goes back over scenes, not because you love suffering, but because you're wired to notice impact, meaning, and nuance that most people miss. Yes, it can be exhausting, but it's also a hidden trait that, when understood, can make you better at reading people, learning from mistakes, and communicating clearly. In this video, we're going to break down why your brain does this, how it can work against you, and how it can quietly become one of your biggest advantages. To see that, you first need to understand what your mind is actually doing when it hits replay. Here's what your brain is actually doing. First, you have a deep processing mind. Most people experience a conversation, file it away, and move on. Your brain hits rewind, slows the scene down, zooms in on tiny details, word choice, tone, facial expression, and asks, what did that really mean? That's not your imagination. It's how a deep processor works. Second, you're likely high in social sensitivity. Psychologists call this high self-monitoring. You naturally scan for your impact on other people. Did I hurt them? Did I sound weird? Did I talk too much? Not enough? You're not just listening to what you say. You're tracking how it lands. That level of awareness can make you incredibly empathetic and good at reading a room. And third, you have strong metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. When you replay conversations, your mind is stepping back, analyzing itself like game footage. What happened there? What could I do differently next time? That's the same mechanism great athletes and performers use to improve on what you're doing it socially. The problem isn't that your brain replays things. The problem starts when this powerful system shifts from learning and awareness into something much harsher. That's the moment when reflection quietly turns into self-torture. There's a point where this powerful system quietly crosses a line. Healthy reflection sounds like, okay, that felt off. What can I do differently next time? It's curious, specific, and forward-facing. But when your replay turns into, I'm so awkward, they must hate me. I always mess things up. That's not reflection anymore, that's self-attack using the same deep processing that could be helping you. The trait didn't change. The direction of it did. Very few people with this level of awareness ever learn how to aim it at growth instead of self-destruction, but that's exactly where your power is. Once you see how to flip that switch, the way you think about yourself after every conversation starts to change. When you put it all together, a different picture of you starts to appear. If you replay conversations in your head, you're probably not just an overthinker. You're someone with high social awareness, a deep processing mind, and a built-in drive to understand your impact on other people. That same trait that tortures you after awkward moments is also what can make you an unusually good listener, careful communicator, and someone who actually grows from their mistakes instead of repeating them on autopilot. The shift now is this. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me for thinking about this, let asking, what is this trying to teach me? Use your replays to refine, not to punish. See them as evidence of your awareness, not proof of your failure. If this felt a little too accurate, you're not alone. Subscribe and stick around if you want more videos that talk to minds like yours. And tell me in the comments what kind of conversations your brain replays the most, because in the next videos, we're going even deeper into why quiet, sensitive thinkers like you move through the world so differently from everyone else.